Okay, it's time for another project. This is another PC Engine project, the last one for a little while, I promise you. And this time, well, last time we effectively just made an emulated console. We stuck a Raspberry Pi in a fancy case of a CD-ROM drive. There's an update to that video coming soon. PC Works actually sent me a couple of the Mega engines, one DIY kit, one pre-built. So, I'll just do a contrast and compare thing, either as a video or as a blog. I'm not sure which yet, but not so much, not really a review as such, but just to compare our open source version to a paid version. But anyway, yeah, that was an emulated system. But what about if you actually want to use something that is true to the to the origins of the machine? Well, I have an option for that. I mean, it's not a good option, I'll admit, but it's an option. So here is the PC Engine RT. Now, if you don't know, the PC Engine LT is effectively, some people say it stands for PC Engine Laptop. I don't think that's ever been clarified, but it will do for now. And that was effectively a PC Engine in a clamshell design with a screen and a TV tuner as well, actually. The idea being, because in Japan, traditionally houses are quite small, TVs are expensive, etc. So you could have this little machine where you could play your games and watch, and also use it as a miniature TV as well. It wasn't portable per se. There was no built-in battery options for it, although you could get battery adapters that would plug into the power port. But by definition, there was no external power. There was no internal power, so you couldn't transport it. But it was a handy system if you for those right conditions. But it was also quite expensive for the time, so it's quite rare. I used to own one, but when I had to sell a lot of my stuff, that was one of the things that went. And I get seller's remorse for everything that I sell, but that's one of the kind of the major ones. So I thought we'd kind of have a bit of fun and recreate it. So here we are, PC Engine RT, PC Engine recreated top. And this is, well, it's a big boy, as you can see. It's quite a lot larger than the original PC Engine LT. There's a lot of reasons for that, and it could be slimmed down in later versions. But this follows the criteria that we set with the RP engine as well, where we're trying to make stuff without spinning up new circuit boards and without damaging anything that we're putting in place, so those things could be reused. And it's the same here. This is made up of an actual PC Engine Coregrafx in the bottom here. Lots of bits from that, but also, if I open this up, and I apologize for the shadows, in here you can see the controller. There we go. You see the controller? That controller is actually made up of an original Coregrafx controller. So inside there, the circuit board for the controller and all the buttons and stuff have been reused as well, including the turbo switches. So, because, as I said, we didn't want to be damaging the original components, they're all kind of placed in a way where we didn't have to. And what that does is, that means that this controller section, which for ease of use, I've had it set on the top, you can technically remove that, and it's got if you've got a long enough cable, you could use it as an external controller, although it does keep the external controller port of the PC Engine. We're not allowed to use two controllers, it's still connected to one thing, but it does mean you can use an external one if you want, and the external video as well. So this could be still used as a normal Coregrafx. But because, yeah, the way this is done, it does add quite a lot of thickness. So this, without this could be probably that much could be shaved off if this wasn't like this, which would make it much closer to the original size. The screen as well is very, very deep, a lot deeper than it actually needs to be. You can probably make that a lot smaller. This hole here is for volume control, but I didn't have a decent enough pot for it, so I left it off. But anyway, yeah, so you could shave a lot of space off this. I just made it quite wide so that you could use a lot of components and you weren't being bothered by the size. But it's an interesting project all the same. So yeah, in the top here, let me redo the camera a second. Okay, the screen is a 7-inch jobby. Just came from a reversing camera. Most of the screens I use are from reversing cameras. So there's a lot of quite good quality screens that are quite cheap to buy off Amazon. You do have to be careful though that they aren't purpose-built things, because they didn't have them when I used to be buying these things, but the first one I bought was completely purpose-built, so the screen actually was hard-coded to show certain GPS-style things, so you couldn't properly use it as a screen. So be careful there. But anything that it says it accepts composite should be fine. And yeah, again, we've reused a lot of the components. So you see this switch here. This is actually the original switch from the Coregrafx. It covers the bay as it used to stop the card being taken out. It's quite, yeah, that's quite long, because normally it would be this small, but again, that's because of this extra height we put on here. When that extra height's taken away, that'll be a normal size. So yeah, it all works, and it's actually surprisingly comfortable to use, at least for my hands. My hands aren't exactly small, but this is mostly dog hair, by the way, although the 3D printing wasn't great. I was still dialing in my new printer when I made this. Yeah, we've got some speakers up here. These are just oval laptop speakers. They work pretty well. There's a little amplifier board in there as well. You can buy them on Amazon for like packs of 5 or like £3 or something ridiculous, and it works completely fine. But anyway, we can test this out in a second. Well, first of all, yeah, on the back, the expansion port is out there, although it won't work with a lot of things because, there we go, because obviously this is too tall now. Again, once it's down normal size, it would work with a lot of things. It uses USB-C to power it, although that is really just taking 5 volts in. There's a 9-volt adapter inside that takes that 5 volts, gives it 9 volts for the screen and the actual PC Engine itself, because the PC Engine does require, does require 9 volts to properly work. Obviously, the speaker's amplifier uses the 5 volts tapped straight off of that input. So, like I said, it works, and we'll test it out in a second. It is usable. One of the bad things, apart from the size again, which you know, it's fixable. All of this is open source, so you'll be able to get the Autodesk Fusion file, so you can play about with it as much as you want. There's also the hinge, which is not is a very simple hinge. It's just a metal bar pushed all the way through. There's a screw inside which stops it coming out this way, and then it just connects these two together. Not the greatest way of doing a hinge, and it does mean that you potentially trapping your fingers in there if you move it about too much, but it does again work, and the screen's a relatively good angle, but possibly back a little bit more. Anyway, let's power it on. We've got a copy of Load Runner here to test it with. Oh, let's put a game in first, otherwise we'll just see a white screen. Obviously, one of the things missing from this is the TV tuner. Not there'd be a lot of use nowadays. You could always stick you can get the little digital TV aerial things that will put out a composite signal. If you wanted to, you could always wire one of those in there. I doubt it would be very hard. Right, on it goes. Hey! Is this going to focus on the screen? It is. There you go. That's fine. So there you go. It does work. If we hit the run button and battle Bomberman, obviously one of the finest games made. But this is the loader. Oh no. Oh damn. Okay, I wasn't. Oh, that's not good. Okay, I've got myself. Oh no, you can get the side. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, this is obviously Load Runner. But still a very fine game. I thought you could drop down holes. I guess you can't. Anyway, yeah. Oh no. Okay, I thought you could drop down holes. Oh yeah, I've killed myself. That was largely me. It works. It's relatively easy to build. Obviously, you have to have a Coregrafx 2 and a pad that fits. Though all the documentation in the comments below will show you exactly what you need. I've got obviously future things that you can add to this. You could, by all means, you can get rechargeable batteries that will give out 9 volts. So you could add a rechargeable battery into this, and then it would allow you to actually power it on the go. So it will actually act like an LT possibly should have done. You can make this whole case smaller, so it is closer to that LC size, probably smaller actually. One of the things obviously, if you could make your own circuit board or cut up an existing controller one, which I didn't want to do again, you can make it so it fits better in these like rests, because it will probably just, yeah, it will all fit into one of these side parts here, which is more or less like the LT did it. Then if you do that, you can get rid of the whole controller and it will all fit a lot nicer, and you could probably really shrink this down an awful lot. I mean, if you got rid of the switching mechanism, you can take away all that space and just have a button at the back or something to turn it on, and you could really shrink this down, especially if you were going to be taking the Coregrafx apart. But you don't need to. This does work. It is a really nice way of playing PC Engine games, I think. And this has probably become my my test system now. My PC Engine LT used to be my test system. Then I got a kind of external screen which plugged into the Coregrafx, so you could have that, and that was then my testing system when I sold the LT. This is now probably my test system because it is once again much more convenient, because it's all in one bundle, which is good. Anyway, that's it. Everything's freely available to, all the plans are freely available and everything, and there's a blog on reviews that goes through the description, but all of that stuff will be in the description. Yeah, have fun and have fun experimenting. See you next time.